Well, YouTube, I've got a small video on working on these DS85 suspensions. As you can see, they're both kind of a mess. This one here's out of the 8095, and it's in pretty good shape. I mean, the tractor only has about 3,000 hours on it, but as you can see, there's some metal shavings and just basically grimy parts. These bushings that go in these scissor brackets are completely shot. Some of the rollers are worn off smooth on the bottom, so they don't roll like they need to. On this combine suspension, it's in a lot better shape. There's hardly any wear on the scissor bushings, but the mice really had their way with it. And they like to rust things with their urine. So this is going to be going on an open station tractor anyways, but I'm going to clean it up. You can tell there's a few differences in the two seats. This one here, where the shock mounts, it's different right here. And this has rubber stops on the top, and this one doesn't. And of course the mounting on the shock's different on the bottom, but otherwise they're virtually identical. The absorbing shocks, they're two different things. And this one came out of the 8095. They're a little bit shorter, but the bushings that go in right here, they're still in the bottom end. They was gone. I mean, this thing was just going in there back and forth, rattling around, and making it jam where these bolts go through. So it's going to get new bushings if I can get them. I might have a spare. I should have a spare set there in a box I have, but it's just going to be a lot of cleanup work and just a little TLC on it. So, everything else. It was. I had to fix one that was a lot worse than that. That hole's wallered out a little bit, but I've fixed one that was completely shot before, so it won't be too bad of a fix. But I just wanted to give a little bit of insight on the differences that I've found on these two seats, which you could go and get one of these out of Combine and probably clean it up and put it right in your 8000 series, and it'd have a long life with it. But it just needs, like with everything this age, some TLC on it, and just a little bit of maintenance goes a long ways. And also on the back here, where these pins go through, it wore a nice little. See, this pin stays stationary in there, but it's had enough force and enough play in it that it's wore into this pin and made this pin kind of oblong in it. And this is the bottom pin that came out of that, and as you can see, it's rusted. So that the suspension should be rotating on this pin like this. The suspension rotate, not the pin, but it should be rotating, and it wasn't. So that caused those oblong holes in that. So I've got some parts pieces and another seat out of a Combine, and probably have to pull it apart to fix this 8095 seat. But I'm only about an hour away from my salvage yard that's got a bunch of N-series late L series Gleaner combines, and they should have some good seats suspensions down there for me. So it'll be a lot cheaper than ordering parts through where I ordered from, because they came out of Canada. And by the time you get through customs, I paid as much in customs as I did for the parts. So I hate the idea of doing that. I'd like to be able to just buy some new parts for it and be done. But you can't. I mean, they don't want to allow us to purchase individual parts for these seats in the United States. You can go over to Europe and buy the parts. You can buy them in Canada. You can buy them in South America. I mean, you can buy them anywhere else in the world, but not in America. So it's just kind of frustrating that we're not allowed to get parts that we need just to fix simple seat suspensions. So that's my little rant on that. But this here, I'll get everything cleaned up and get this painted up and stuff and refixed up. And before I put it all together, I'll do a video of it before I start assembling everything and of getting it back together, and we'll see the finished product when it's all said and done. But yeah, those mice just kind of had their way with everything. So, but since it's cold outside, I just brought this thing home to the house, and not a fancy work table and stuff, and probably ain't good for the wood, but it's what I got to work with. And instead of doing this when it's 35 outside, at least I can do it when it's somewhat climate controlled in the house. So I hope this kind of explains a little bit on these suspensions, and like the channel, and hope to get 1,000 subscribers so I can start getting partner with YouTube. And I appreciate any comments or anything that people suggest or say on it. So we'll see you next time.